when you do have a multi-level relationship, it really benefits you as an agency and as a client at the same time.
Hi everyone, so good to see you all. Super excited for this panel. I'm super happy to have you, Ahmed, Hiba, and Dayala. How are you doing today?
Amazing.
Good to see you. So today we're going to talk about marketing. We have some of the region leaders in marketing, and we're going to be talking about an era where consumers are bombarded with content. I want each one of you to kind of answer this question. And how do you feel that you're cutting the noise to make a meaningful impact with your target audience and differentiate yourself from the competition? And I'll start with you, Ahmed.
Okay. As we all understand, content takes different types and forms. I mean, content can basically be an advertising message. It could be a song, it could be a drama, it could be a tutorial or product illustration. The most important aspect, in my opinion, is that it has to be different, it has to be relevant, and it's all about the insight. For example, if you choose a piece of content or you create a content that is not locally relevant, it will alienate people from following up or catching up. So basically, what we always say, or we always educate our employees, is that you have to escape the competitive herd, because you are bombarded, like you said, with a lot of messages every single day. Researchers say that sometimes you're exposed to 400 brands in a day. So basically, what we say to the people is you have to actually create content that creates a smile, that is simple, and that creates more of a surprise. So we call it the 3S: simple, surprise, and smile. So if you get those three things in one content, I think you're good to fly. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you, Ahmed. What about you, Heba?
So I think the first step in creating meaningful content would be to really understand who your customers are and what are their needs, what are their wants, and having mission-based products. Too many people get busy selling certain features of their brands or their products or services. It's really important to go a step beyond that and give them an experience through your content. Also, Ahmed touched on a very important point: localizing your messaging. I really like the term glocal, which is creating global content that's localized. I think that's very powerful, and people always buy brands that they resonate with, and they resonate with their content. So yeah, I think that's very important. Thank you.
I love it. What about you, Dayala?
So I think one of the most important things, like in trends recently, is storytelling. So you need to tell a story when it comes to your content. You need to tell an interesting story to your audience to make them more engaged. So even if the video is long, for example, on TikTok or Instagram, if you're telling an interesting story that this user wants to hear, then خلاص, you cracked the code. Another thing would be being raw and transparent. I think people now are tired of seeing this polished content, and they want to see more of the creators. They want to see more of what's behind the scenes of this brand. So I want to see who's the human that I am talking to, whether on WhatsApp or whether on your customer support. I want to understand who are the people behind the brand, which makes it like you have a human side of your brand. You have a human side of your personality as an influencer, which makes it easier for you to reach the hearts of your customers, whether you're a content creator or you're a brand.
Yes, totally agree. And I love that you connected it to the human part. People absolutely connect with the story and the people more than the brand and the company.
Exactly. For example, one of the influencers that I follow on social media, her name is Alex Earl. She was famous because she showed her face raw without any makeup with acne. So people are relating to her, and this made her like famous on TikTok. Now she's everywhere just because she was able to show a raw side of her personality that people aren't used to see.
Yes, absolutely. I'll go to you, Ahmed. As a leader in the region, how do you identify emerging trends and make sure that you're ahead of the curve?
Okay, so the number one aspect, in my opinion, is information, is knowledge. You know, knowledge is power. So, and this has become very easy now. I mean, now you can get exposed to research, a lot of researches, a lot of, you know, articles, a lot of reports that are being issued on, you know, social trends and emerging trends. But in my opinion, the one most important factor is coming up with a strategy. And this will only happen if you surround yourself with the right people. The thing is, the leadership team, the one that takes the decision, not ordinary teams, have to be diversified. They have to be different in terms of social background. They have to be different in terms of age, you know, knowledge and everything. So that's very important, and always be aware from what I call, you know, the head nodders, the one that do that all the time. Also, on the other side, be aware from the sinkers. You know, you don't want someone to sink the ship, and you don't want someone to agree with you on everything. You need to have people around you that debate, argue, and challenge your decisions as a leader. And then another important aspect is agility. I mean, it's the important thing to, you know, to act fast and think quickly. That's very important in our nowadays, you know, kind of trends. Last but not least is not to be afraid from failures, because most of people, you know, they're worried from, you know, new things and new trials. No, I think you should go out there, move outside your comfort zone, you know, make a lot of failed, you know, attempts. I was actually surprised to know that in Amazon, for example, between every 2 successful projects, they have around 250 failed ones. So this is how people succeed, and this is how people come up with strategies. And then another thing, which is go out there and ask people, ask your vendors, you know, sit down with your customers, discuss, you know, the strategies with your salespeople. These are all factors that can help you coming up with a strategy. But getting the information nowadays, it's easy. Strategizing it is the most important factor. Yeah.
And between being successful and staying on that success, how do you think we can retain customers?
Well, I'm going to talk about also our line of business, because we do have clients, not customers, you know. In Tariq Noor Group, we've been there in the market for around 5 decades, and we have one of the most successful client agency relationship ever. I mean, globally, we have clients that were there in the agency for around 50 years, and locally we have also other clients that were there for 19 and 20 years. What we discovered lately is that it's very important for you to choose your client. You know, understand your client, choose the client that basically allow you to drive, you know, share thank yous, you know. And another thing is that you need to touch base with the client on a multi-level kind of relationship. When you do have a multi-level relationship, it really benefits you as an agency and as a client at the same time. Because sometimes when you know, have middle management, they have sort of conflicts, and then you're faced with a big problem with the client, you don't know how to solve it. But if you do have this multi-level relationship, you will always have a way. So, I mean, that's, I'm going to talk more about, I talked more about clients, not customers, you know, because we don't deal in the area of, you know, end consumers and products.
Thank you, Ahmed. And then I'll go to you, Hiba. What do you think is the marketing tactics with your company that stands out for young startups to attract and retain customers?
Okay, so if we're talking about marketing tactics, we have to think about customer acquisition. Customer acquisition starts first with building awareness around your products, and then building the interest around your products or services, and then converting them into customers, and then converting them into loyal customers, which then advocate for your products. I think the most important step turning a customer into a loyal customer that advocates for you is to create a sense of community around your brands. when you have, all of our businesses have the potential to build communities around them. In today's world, it's social media. You have your Instagram page. That's a very great way to connect with your customers and build that sense of engagement and that community. So your customers feel that emotional connection around your brand, which is what's going to make them advocate for it and become loyal and return customers.
Thank you, Heba. And then I'll go to you, Dayala. Your company, Vatrine, has a mission of empowering women. How are you doing that? And how is that helping your business?
So because I'm a woman, I understand women, and it's easier for me to market to women. So I understand their needs, I understand what they really want, and we actually deliver that to them. So for example, what Vatrine does is enable SMEs in general to start selling and make the process of selling easier, whether online or offline. So for example, if you're a woman that is, for example, baking goods in your home and you want to make an extra income, you can easily sign up using Vatrine, and you have a storefront that is ready for you, and you can start selling and making more money just at home. We provide them, like when marketing our business, we provide them, for example, with lives or webinars explaining how you do that, how to crack the social media ads, for example, how to take pictures of your products. So it makes it easier for them to understand how to do all of this. For example, many people are talented and many women are talented, but they lack these skills. So we help them to do that as well, other than digitizing them. The other thing is having a product-centric, that is customer-centric. Our product, for example, we listen a lot to our customers. Many of the features come directly from them. We discuss them directly in our meetings. And we make it happen. Because we're a startup, everything is agile. So we have certain customers, a customer that sends us a message on WhatsApp, for example, I want this feature. We would be discussing it the next day in our meeting, and this feature would be live in a month, for example. So it makes it like, it makes the customer love the product more, it makes them feel heard and seen. So the customer is the essence of our product in order to understand our customer, in order to give them the best product possible.
I love that. And I'll go to you, Ahmed, right now. What makes you who you are? As a company, as Tariq Noor Group, what makes Tariq Noor Group?
Okay, in our group, I think what identifies us more and make us different is the culture that we have. We do have this culture of creating this safe haven for everyone to discuss, for everyone to talk, regardless of their title or where do they stand in the organization. Another important factor which you played on, which is the locality, let's put it that way, because we are affiliated to Omnicom, which is one of the biggest communication groups in the world. We are lucky enough to be, one of the best local agencies, but yet with a global know-how. So we use the tools, we use the understanding from different markets, and then we actually mold that and try to fit our local market. So we take, like the steps, the know-hows, and localize it. So basically, these are the two things that make us very different. Another thing is that we always say that the sky is the limit. For example, I was a general manager of one of the companies when I was at the age of 27. And then I was responsible for an entire country when I was 30. So basically, this is what we allow our employees. We allow our employees to shine. We give them the space, regardless of their age or experience. It all depends on what they can deliver, and it all depends on what they can handle. So basically, I think I was lucky enough to join this group early on in my life. And then, as you see now, I'm like in my 40s, and I'm a CEO and a partner in the company. So basically, this is what we do. We allow people to grow. That's the culture that I'm talking about.
I love that. What about you, Heba? What would you say makes your company what it is?
So I started my first venture, Sauce Capital, when I was 26 years old. And I hired all of my friends at the time who were around the same age group. And 4 years ago, there wasn't there was a huge, especially with COVID coming up, there was a lot of people that lost their jobs. So I gave people the chance to, come and join my team, and I gave them shares into my company as well, so that they felt that it was their company as well. The average age of my team is 27 years old, and we are a team of 400 people. And it makes me really proud to see, a company that's achieved this much in a short period of time, be full of young creators and young talent. I don't think you need many years of experience to start your own venture or work in, the job of your dreams. I think you can do that at any age, and I think when you're creating a product that's meant to be for the youth need to be creating it. So that's, I think, what makes my company special.
I love it. What about you, Diala?
I think being based in Palestine and like being resilient, having to always think of creative ways to solve certain problems that don't usually, you don't usually face them in any other country, really helped us. خلاص, whatever problem we have, I know that we can find a solution, and I know we can maneuver around it. خلاص, since a very young age, we've been used to finding solutions to many stuff. When you have a startup in such a very complicated place and such a complicated environment, I think by time you build this thick skin, and whatever you face, you know that you can, you will be able to do it and pass it, whatever it was.
Wow, that's so inspiring. And then the last question I'm going to wrap up with, from your opinion, what do you think is the marketing trends that shape the customer acquisition and loyalty in the next 5 years?
I think AI will play a pivotal role when it comes to marketing trends. Users are now giving their information, they know they're giving their information to chatbots, for example, like OpenAI and Bard, and they don't mind that. And this information is going to be used by marketers at some point in order to customize and personalize the ad experiences. So I think ads will be different and more personalized in the coming 5 years. Another thing that I would hope would happen would be integrating augmented reality when it comes to e-commerce, especially grocery shopping. I always imagine myself like entering a certain platform and seeing the real supermarket, but in augmented reality. And I would be shopping for things from the supermarket that I usually know, but from my home, for example. So I think that if this happened, it would really revolutionize e-commerce in general. The third thing would be conversational commerce. We actually use it in Vitrine. For example, using WhatsApp in order to communicate with your customers. For example, if a user has a new order on his storefront from Vitrine, or her storefront from Vitrine, they would receive a WhatsApp message with this order. So this makes it easier for them to manage their orders. It makes it easier for the customers to even ask about certain orders on WhatsApp, because it creates this human connection and trust that is usually lost when you're shopping on a blank e-commerce website. So you need this touch, to keep this touch, especially for Arab customers.
Thank you. Ahmed, do you want to add anything?
Well, I have a different view on that.
I know you do.
We discussed that. But the thing is, I mean, in my opinion, it's very difficult to identify or basically set the trends for like 5 years' time. Actually, what's going to happen in 5 years, I predict is going to happen only in 1 year. So you don't know what's going to happen next. But the thing is, for sure, there are some guiding principles that I would say would guide some of, of the trends moving forward, which is the use of technology, for sure. People will tend to use more technology, will tend to use more, digital kind of, facilities and platforms. For example, in our line of business as well, I mean, I get asked this question, is TV dying or not? I would say it's going to be a bit different. It's not going to die, but it's going to shift. People will shift more on digital platforms. They will consume more, platforms like Shahid, Netflix, and so on and so forth. But the thing is, you cannot actually say that TV is going to die, because you have a lot of, base, especially in our country. You have, almost 40 or 50% below poverty line, so they won't be able to subscribe to, to these kind of platforms. The streaming is expensive, online streaming. So I think, there are a lot of shifts, but you cannot predict what's going to happen in the 5 years. But the thing is, again, there are guiding principles, like, for example, for Generation Z and millennials, you need to create, short type of contents. You need to give them this kind of, snacking, kind of content. But it's very difficult to predict. Actually, you're predicting 1 year. It's difficult to predict 1 year. So it's definitely very hard to predict what's going to happen in 5 years. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Ahmed. What about you, Hiba? What's your opinion on that?
So I agree with both, but I think definitely technology is going to be driving the marketing shift in the future. With the use of AI, even if we're talking about the Internet of Things, I think, good technology is one that you can't feel, and I think that's really gonna also hit marketing. I don't think people are gonna be aware, as much as they are now with bombarding messaging. It will be a more seamless marketing. I can imagine, a world where you're looking at your fridge and then your fridge telling you, okay, you need to go buy, oranges, and then market, let's say, the grocery store down the street. And I think, technology is going to be a big factor in, changing the marketing landscape in the future, for sure.
Totally agree. And with that, we're going to ramp it up. So thank you so much, Hiba. Thank you, Ahmed. And thank you, Diala. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Really appreciate you all.
Thank you, everyone.